The greater sage grouse is disappearing, and conservation officials hope it doesn't come down to listing the species as endangered because this little bird could get expensive. Now, the peculiar-looking ground bird that sounds a little bit like a coffee percolator numbers in the hundreds of thousands. But a study funded by oil exploration trade group Western Energy Alliance suggests listing the sage grouse as endangered, which would protect its habitat from development and other land uses, would cause an annual loss of $5.6 billion in U.S. GDP. Coal, natural gas, crude oil, and beef industries could all be hit without use of that land. With that kind of money at stake, the sage grouse gets a lot of play in Washington. Last year, congressional Republicans passed spending measures that prevented the Fish and Wildlife Service from granting the sage grouse endangered status. If it's not energy and housing development cutting into sage grouse turf, it's bigger and more destructive wildfires, or invasive species such as juniper hogging all the resources.
As they move in, they suck up all the available water, and the sagebrush can no longer thrive, and neither can the bunch grasses and the forbs, these flowering plants that are so essential for the development of sage grouse chicks.
As it stands, the Bureau of Land Management and private landowners alike are grouse-proofing 60 million acres in an unprecedented effort to save the species, cutting out juniper, marking fences, and making water troughs safer for grouse to navigate. Lawmakers highlight plans to reduce the frequency and intensity of wildfires that damage grouse habitat. But some officials, including Idaho Governor Butch Otter, worry the existing BLM campaign already threatens to overly restrict access to nearly 3 million acres by focusing on secondary threats to the species. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has until September 30th to decide whether the sage grouse warrants endangered status. For Newsy, I'm Sebastian Martinez.